Today we are talking about how people treating you badly says more about them than it says about you and your worth. Welcome back to your Emotional Support Podcast. I am your host, Noelle, and today we're talking about the way that people treat us and how when people treat us poorly or judge us, that is a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of us. So this is your reminder that someone else's poor behavior is not your character flaw. We're unhooking your worth from how others show up or don't. So let's talk about how we are wired internally. As kids, we learn that attention equals value and disapproval equals shame. So when someone is cold or rude or distant, we often think, what did I do wrong? But the truth is that their response is a mirror of their beliefs, their wounds, their emotional capacity, not a reflection of your worth. Okay? You could be the ripest peach in the orchard, and some people just don't like peaches, right? I've talked about this before, that we can't control whether other people like us or not, and that other people liking us is not our responsibility. Well, other people's behavior is not our responsibility either, and it is not a reflection of our value. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why their behavior isn't a reflection of you. Okay, people project their stress, their insecurity, and their own unhealed pain onto others. It goes way, way back to early psychological theories that people project what's going on with them onto other people. Okay, so someone who's emotionally unavailable or overly critical or critical at all, they might be in their own world, they might be burnt out. They might have poor self-worth themselves. They don't feel good about themselves or know what their own worth is. They might not know how to hold space for others, okay? That means they might just not know how to be empathic, okay? And I am writing a whole presentation on this about how empathy is not something that we can learn. It's something that you're either born with or you're not born with. Now, we can teach empathic behaviors, but we can't teach people to feel that empathy, to really put themselves in other people's shoes and really feel what they're coming from. So there are lots of people in this world who are very, very empathic. Usually those are the helpers that you find. There are people in this world who don't understand what it means to actually physically feel and emotionally feel what somebody else is experiencing, okay? And that's what empathy is. So like I said, we can teach empathic behaviors. We can teach people how to try to put yourself in someone else's shoes and that kind of thing. But we cannot make them learn something that they simply cannot. And so they just might not know how to do that. And that is no fault of yours. Okay? So being ghosted or ignored or judged or something like that doesn't mean you're not lovable. It means that that person doesn't have the tools to communicate or be vulnerable. Okay? And I went through this a lot, in my 20s, right? Because we have this societal timeline that we're all supposed to check these milestones off, right? Graduate college, find the love of your life, get married, start having a family, check, check, check. Okay? I didn't check I graduated from college eventually, but I didn't check any of the boxes. I did not have a serious relationship the entire tenure of my 20s, okay? And I thought that something was wrong with me. I thought that I wasn't worth it, that I wasn't worth loving, okay? And that stems from a lot of other things, a lot of other traumas. But when society tells you that by this time you should be married, by this time you should be starting a family, if not, then what's wrong with you? And people would ask me, why are you still single? I can't believe you're still single. Like, what's wrong with you that you don't have a partner? Okay. The truth is that there was nothing wrong with me. I wasn't finding the right people. Okay. And I wasn't going to settle for the wrong person. Okay, so, and I was confused about that for a long, long time. I really honestly thought that something was wrong with me. And I think a lot of people do when they're not partnered up. Okay, that's not the truth. Okay, marriage is a, patriarchal construct, okay, that we'll get into in a different episode. But not being partnered up does not mean that there is anything wrong with you. Okay? Don't confuse other people's silence with your insignificance, because you are significant. You are worthy, regardless of what other people might think, because that, again, is just a reflection of them and what's going on with them, not you. Okay? And in another episode, we will talk about reflection and self-reflection and how it's good to, reflect on our own actions and our own beliefs and our own vulnerabilities. And that's always important. But if you're doing all of those things and you are, conscientiously a good person, then there's absolutely no reason why someone else should be treating you poorly. So how do we stop absorbing other people's energy? Okay, the first thing to do is we need to pause and take a beat before we start personalizing their behavior. And just say, is this about me, or are they in their own storm? Is this a reflection of me, or are they possibly going through something that I'm unaware of? And that might not be a question that you can answer. You might not be able to know what that other person is going through, but you can reflect and say, is this actually about me? And if you can't answer that, if there's no answer to that you did something, then it's probably something that's about them. And then we need to practice radical self-validation. Okay, even if they can't see my worth, I still can. Okay, and then you need to focus on what worth you bring to the table. In, one of the former exercises that we've talked about in here, that you are worthy. And so go back and go through some of those lists or journal entries or something that we've talked about. Don't hand over your self-worth like it's like a feedback survey. Okay, you don't need other people to rank your value for you to feel good about yourself, because you are. Okay, and then realize your energy boundaries. Where are you placing your energy? Your reaction is yours, right? Their reaction to you is theirs. Okay, so you don't need to carry around their reaction to whoever you need to be. Okay, and so just kind of remembering that you are not responsible for their traumas, their past, their perceptions. All right, so we need some self-worth anchors, okay? These are just reminders about what, where you can look back to if you need that self-validation and that reminder of your self-worth. So reaffirming what's already true about you, right? Going back and saying, I am kind, I am capable, I am enough, even if others can't reflect that back. Okay, and it's not going to be everybody, right? You have your people, you have your support system who you can be your true self with and feel worthy in those spaces. Okay, if this person isn't it, then this person isn't it, and that is not a reflection of you. And then create a self-worth shield. You can even do this you can find a shield template online or something, or just draw a shield or whatever, or just write it down and fill it with affirmations. Use a supportive voice when you're doing this, and just write down moments of pride, moments of clarity that you have had to remind yourself that you are worthy. And then these things will become a barrier, a shield between those people who don't know how to act right, and it won't affect your self-worth when they do. All right, so this week's reminder, this week's tip that you didn't ask for but definitely need, your words are not my mirror. Your mood is not my truth. Okay, so that's something that you can think when somebody else is being nasty to you or whatever. You just think, your words are not my mirror. Your mood is not my truth. Okay, whatever they have going on is not a reflection of you. All right, here's your challenge for the week. Think of one recent situation where someone's behavior made you question your worth. Reframe it. What might they have been carrying that had nothing to do with you? You know, I've talked about this before. Maybe they got into a fight with their partner before they left home. Maybe they have a family member who's sick and it's stressing them out and they're displacing that stress, okay? And then journal or affirm that was a them thing, not a me thing, okay? Write it down, and then you have to affirm that that was not you. That was them. This is not something that you have to carry. And it all goes back to us, especially women, carrying around things that don't belong to us, okay? We do it in our purses. We do it in our emotions, okay? Let it go. Clean out your emotional purse. Let go of other people's baggage. Okay? Good luck with this because this is hard. We've been trained to do this since we were young. Okay? Other people not liking us is not shameful to us. Okay? Sometimes I kind of like it when people don't like me. But that's a story for another time. Have a great week. I am so glad you're here.